I want you all to pay attention to what you see on the grass. These seem to be somewhat circular formations. This is a complete circle. You see multiple circles over here, over there, over there, over here, and the sides. You even actually see double circles, and you see a lot more over here. This park in Baycrest, right? And there's several over on the sides there, all around these trees areas here. They're all along Baycrest. Now, what's interesting about this is some scientists will just say, well, you know, it's some kind of weird fungal thing, but really, they don't really back it up, and I don't think there actually is a fungal organism that do this. I've heard some people say moles, but moles really don't do this. It's what you're seeing here is you're seeing what's called extreme radiation growth. In other words, when you look at what's involved around the sides and so forth, you know, they're the same type of grass, but they seem to be greener and lusher and grow more, which is indication of some form of external source that is actually, you know, making them grow, which is, you know, something like radiation is what we're talking at. Now, when you look at all this stuff and you start wondering yourself, well, we could look at it a scientific way, or we could look at it at a fantasy way. Well, the scientific way, they're saying, you know, that chances are it's some form of radiation that's doing it. Well, what type of radiation? Is it effects of the gamma rays that are coming from their suns? Our governments aren't really telling us about all this, are they? You know, it could be radiation fallout from Fukushima. It's hard to say. You know, it could also indicate an actual fourth dimensional reality construct that all we're seeing is the two-dimensional plane existence of it. And this is where I want to go into talking about the fairies, because, you know, this whole area here, and as well as way over into the other parks, over up to Avenue Road. I've even seen beyond Avenue Road, south. I've seen as far south as Lawrence, and I've seen over as well down. So this whole area here seems to be covered, but it's mostly centralized here in the Baycrest Park area, but then this is also the largest part. There's some of these crop circle formations that are actually over in Shepherd Park, where some people call the Filipino picnic area. Now, what's interesting is this is Filipino central area, meaning, you know, there's a huge amount of Filipino community here. And when I mean a community, like a sense of community has developed here. You know, that's why you've got the taste of Manila up at Wilson and Bathurst area. Now, the culture really does believe in fairies. So one could simply say that what you're actually seeing here are fairy circles, and in the interdimensional or different light spectrums, they actually exist, and they're kind of like an indication of a dome. And they, you know, the Filipinos brought them over here from their native island, right, in the Philippines, and now they've just kind of settled here in the Baycrest area. You know, you could pick and choose whichever theory you're at. Me, frankly, I think they're fairies. There's an intelligence that you can clearly see, and when you follow the history or magical or imaginary aspects of you know, our reality, you see that these things have existed, and they exist in all over different cultures of the world. I've seen some where desert forms, and there's the only difference is the actual rocks themselves have formed slightly differently. So there's always an external intelligent force behind it. Is it just a cold robotic process of randomness that is created here? I don't think so. I don't see randomness here. I see some kind of a language or something that I can't understand. But I'll tell you one thing, you know, it's an intelligence, and I believe it's there are entities like, you know the fairies or what have you. You see, when you start following quantum physics and mechanics, you start to end up realizing that this reality we live in, that we're all co-creating, we're not the only ones here, my brothers and sisters. you're foolish to believe otherwise. So the best thing to do is just to follow your heart. That's the best thing I always say. And it's more romantic after all. So me, I believe in fairies. But hey, I'll leave it up to you. Either way, however you look at it, it's still magical. And I guess that's the end of the day, right?